In today's video, we finish all the little details on the red Evo 8 before our big detail and reveal of the car. First thing on the list is figuring out how to get this front bumper installed with the 3.5-inch intercooler, which was giving me issues, and I need to figure out what to do. A lot of you guys, once I posted the previous video, if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely go watch it. Were telling me that you guys remove this whole entire bracket and just install the bumper like that. But in my case, I cannot do that because this front mesh for the bumper is held by this bracket. So as you guys can see, this bracket bends upward, and this is where this mesh is being retained by some bolts that are welded to that bracket. So I can't remove this bracket. What I'm thinking on doing is I have a couple of options here. Where it's hitting is on these tabs right here. First option I think I'm gonna try is to cut here and here very parallel, try to make it as OEM as possible, even though I'm cutting through it, and seeing if I can retain everything else. Because again, these are support points. Like all of these are support points for the bumper. The other option is to cut it completely like this, all the way through. And if I cut it all the way through, then I mean, I'm still gonna retain the mesh here. This mesh is good, it's not retained by the bracket. All I'm removing is these points right here. And honestly, I'm not gonna use none of this, so I should still be good. Either way, we're gonna figure it out, and I'll show you guys what my solution is. But first things first, let me confirm myself where this is hitting, so then we can make our first kind of mock-up cut and see if we can get it to fit without having to cut or remove this bracket at all. Something else we are going to have to work with is these air guides for the radiator. These are OEM air guides that I didn't have on my GG Evo, but these go here, but as you can see, they're hitting on this bottom bracket right here for the ETS. So this one at least is easy. It's just a matter of shaving this bottom part out. Same thing with the left side, but I do want to keep as many OEM parts as possible. Remember one thing, when these cars are made, they are engineered and made by people that are testing everything like airflow, and something simple like this I think will matter when it comes to cooling and forcing the air inwards to the radiator. This is really cool to have. I didn't have it on the GG, so I'm trying to retain, as you guys can see, as many OEM parts as possible on this build. Not bad. We will touch this up, paint the bracket and everything. I'm not gonna leave this bare metal. But at least now we have the cuts. Let's mock it up to the bumper and test it out. My God. I know that the front lip is missing. It's right there. Later on we will get to this. But whew, dude, this looks really, really good. This is the first time I'm seeing the car with the front bumper on. I am honestly super happy and impressed. Obviously, this is the way the GG was, so the fitment doesn't surprise me, but this is really, really nice. Like, the fitment is super good with the front bumper. You have a little bit of poke, but it is still flush. And then obviously the front bumper with the ETS intercooler. I'm telling you guys, with the Evo 8, this is the best look, to me at least, hands down. The front intercooler exposed like that with a carbon fiber front lid on this car is gonna look amazing. I am so happy. It was honestly a pain in the ass with this front bumper and the way the JDM, I guess, front end is, but got it resolved. Did it the best I could. Now, let's move on to the next stuff, but this came out amazing. Wanted to take a quick break and present to you guys the sponsor of this video, which is Top Down. Top Down has worked with us in the past. They sent me one of their battery testers, and I've also used their jump starter, as you guys know in one of my previous videos, because these batteries, when these cars are not being used, they always die, especially the people that are running mini batteries, as I was with the GG Evo. What they have sent me, it's a battery tester and battery charger in one. So you no longer need to have a battery tester by itself and a battery charger by itself. It's a 2-in-1, which is truly, truly innovative. Let me open this baby up and show you guys what I mean. Alrighty, so I just finished unboxing the TB6000 Pro, and this unit is on a league of its own, and I mean that. It works with an app, so this is the only thing you have on the charger itself. And again, this is a battery charger and tester. And take a look at this app. This is crazy. So you could go all the way from smart charging, which I will explain, quick charging, and testing options. Let's say you have a dead battery, you don't know if it's a good battery or a bad battery. You just go here to testing option, and you could do a battery test, you could do a charging test, and you could also do a cranking test on the same charger, which is crazy. So we're talking about a battery tester, and then we have a lot of steps that we could do. We could do quick charging, and it lets you do 12 volts, 6 volts lithium battery, which is usually not the case. Usually you have to buy a separate one for lithium. And then we also have smart charging, which again, a lot of this stuff is tailored for professionals, but then this is also good for us DIYers. You could just connect this to your battery and it will just automatically set it up for your specific battery if you're not into all of these details on the app. But the fact that you can even do that is super, super cool. Let's go ahead and connect it to the Evo so I can show you more little details in regards to this. You could get reports of your battery and like so many cool stuff. I love when companies are innovating, and I genuinely mean that. Like, this is in a league of its own, best of the best. I don't think nobody has done something this small where it could charge and be a tester at the same time. So props to Top Down. So I just got it connected to the car just to test it out and geek out, and this is where we're at. I'm currently charging. I can see live reports of everything related to the battery. Like, I can see everything on the app itself, which is really, really cool. And for professionals and people that need all of this information on batteries, this is obviously a plus. Again, I am currently charging. It will tell me on the app. Once it does charge, it does trickle into, I forget the name, but it's not gonna overcharge your battery. It does everything for you, which is really, really cool. You don't have to worry about it. You could just plug it, connect it, and forget about it. Specifically for all of my Evo people up north, New York, that have a lot of snow, you guys know that you guys don't use your Evos in the winter time. This is the perfect thing to have in the winter. You just connect it, forget about it. If you ever want to see reports on your battery, you could be in your room laying down, just going on the app, and you can see everything on the battery itself, as long as you're connected via Bluetooth. If you guys are interested in this product, it's actually a Kickstarter, and I'm gonna put everything down below so you guys can support Top Down. Make sure to go check them out. The price is actually really good right now if you guys are one of the first supporters for this product. So definitely go ahead and click in the link below in the description. So next up on the car, we are going to be changing our toe bolts, and we are going to be adjusting the camber on the rear of the car, and I'm gonna explain why. But first, let me explain to you guys, for some of you guys that might not know, toe and camber. So what is toe and camber? Your toe, which when you take it to alignment, they adjust all of this, but I am going to be changing my toe bolts because when I took it to alignment, Albert told me that one of the bolts was stripping. So he recommended me to switch one of the bolts, and you guys know me, I ordered them right away, OEM from the dealer, to change them because I don't want to risk anything. And this is my baby. So toe in, toe out. Let me explain this. This is your wheel, toe. So if you're looking at it this way, let's look at it front. This is your actual wheel. What we are going to be doing, the toe, when you're adjusting it, you're adjusting this angle right here. So you can have a little bit of toe out, and then you can have a little bit of toe in. And then camber itself is when you put camber. So you're putting angle to the tire. And now some of you guys might be asking, Chris, why will you run camber on a car? Like, why would you not just run it straight? And the reason being is when you're taking corners and you're making a left-hand turn, let's say you're making a left-hand turn, inertia, what it's doing is basically pushing you the other way. So instead of just using, let's say it was flat at 0 camber and you're making a really hard left turn, it's gonna start lifting. And so what the camber is going to do is, since your car's like this and you're making a really hard turn, you have camber and it's gonna force it this way. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it's just to make sure that you're using the whole contact patch on the tire. So believe it or not, camber in some instance is good on a car. Every single time that somebody's doing spirited driving, camber does help, specifically in the front and all of that. There's a lot more information you can read on this, specifically drifters. You guys are gonna see that they run crazy camber. Everything is for a reason, believe it or not. But let's go ahead, race the car up, change the toe bolts, adjust camber in the rear, and then we have to test drive this baby. Alrighty, so hopefully I can show you guys what is it that I'm doing, but since I am replacing my toe bolts and this car has been already aligned, what I am doing is I am marking, let me see if I can get this to focus, I am marking exactly where my alignment is at. So my bolt in the bottom of the car, I already marked, and I already marked this bolt. It's in the line after this hole. So this is for the left side, I already marked it. So when I put it back, I need to make sure that my alignment is exactly the same. And you guys could do this yourselves if you guys need to replace a toe bolt or a camber bolt or anything like that. There are several markings you guys could use for your reference. Now let me get underneath the car and try to show you guys these locations. It's a little bit tight in there, but I'm pretty sure I can show you guys. So camber bolt is on your actual lower control arm. This bolt right here adjusts your camber, and then your toe bolt is all the way back here on this small arm. This is your toe bolt right here on this side. This is what we are going to be replacing on both sides, and then adjusting, giving a little bit more camber. And the reason I am putting a little bit more camber is because, as you can see, there is a slight, and I'm talking about slight, like you can't even see it on the actual fender, but it is rubbing quite a little bit when I do take a bump, and it's like a hard bump and the tire goes up. It rubs a little bit, so I just want to put in that slight camber. So we were running 2 degrees of camber. I am going to try to run 2.3 or 2.5, 2.5 camber, so that way my car is just not rubbing on the tire. Honestly, it's so slight that it's okay, but I don't want it to rub at all, so that's why we're gonna go that way. But I wanted to show you guys the way these bolts are. As you can see, they have a little indentation and a mark. This is exactly what I'm gonna do with my toe bolts, which is right here. I just marked it, and I'm gonna replace the bolt and make sure that it goes back the exact same way. And just like that, all those finer details are complete. I did add a little bit of camber. Hopefully that little bit helps in that minor rubbing that I was having on this side. On that side I was good, but I still want both cambers to be the same, so I added a little bit on both sides. Now, the next thing we have is to finally bed in our EBC brake pads, which I haven't bed in the brakes since I did it because they recommend after approximately 200 miles of urban use, then you can actually do the final bed-in process. The EBC brake pads come with a coating to help basically initialize the break-in with the rotor, if that makes sense. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know the science behind it, but it comes with a coating so you don't bed them in right away. You have to use them for 200 miles, wait for that coating to get used, and then after 200 miles, you'll actually do the final bed-in process. So let's go ahead and take the baby for a ride. I'll put you guys on the GoPro, a little bit of POV action on the JDM Evo for the first time out with the front bumper, which is just so good. Anyways, let's get in the car. You guys know what time it is, right? Yes. I always get super excited when driving this car. So now, what do I mean by bed in the brakes? By bedding in the brakes, what you're doing is you're basically making sure that your pads and your rotor have the best contact surface. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but I am stopping to make sure that the pad itself has all of the surface against the rotor. And by stopping a couple of times from 60 to 20, there's a lot of different ways you could do it, like everything in this world. Some people do it differently. I'm just gonna follow the EBC instructions and do 60 to 20 and basically call it a day. I'm gonna do that 3 to 5 times, and after that I should be good to go. And you are going to stop pretty hard. You're not gonna stop to the point where you're activating ABS, but you do wanna make sure that you do stop firm, I guess you could say. So let's go ahead and do one now. I'll do it once I'm straight, make sure that there's nobody behind, and obviously do this somewhere safe. This is an empty road that I have by my neighborhood. Trust me, there's no cars around. So, and then we just want to stop. That was one, and we'll do that again 3 to 5 times to make sure these pads are nice and crispy for some enthusiast driving. I do have to say this car is feeling so smooth. Also, another thing you guys might notice is that my 3 lights are on for tarmac, gravel, and snow. That always happens whenever I lift the car up and I put it like this tilted. I guess the fluid, you know, the sensor kind of detects that there's no fluid, but once I drive it for a while, it will go away. So you guys can ignore those 3 lights. Let's go ahead and get it on for the second one. And we're done. That's how easy it is to bed in your brakes. Honestly, it's not that complicated. You could just YouTube how to bed in your brake pads and you should be good to go. Hopefully this video was informative. We change our, well first, we install our front bumper, we change our rear toe bolts, and we also adjusted our rear camber, and now we just bed in our brakes. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and it was informative. If you guys really enjoyed this POV driving action, then you guys should definitely go see this video right here, because I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy it.